And how many people do we have?
I think there was about 40 had registered, so
Terrific.
nice number. So I see people are joining us at the moment, so welcome. We're just going to give a few seconds to give
That's
people a chance to get in.
sure. And situate themselves.
Okay, so I think I'll start a brief introduction now. My name is Leslie Lampton. Thank you all for joining us. I'd like to welcome you on behalf of the Ridgefield Library. This program is part of our series, Find a Job, Career and Job Search series. And I'd like to thank Christy Mitchell and Barrett Jones, who are two of our librarians at the library, who are putting together some important programs all around this series. So thanks to them. Today, I'd like to welcome Dr. Marcia LaReau. She is a well-known and respected professional in the field of job search and employment. She has held positions as a college professor, as a project manager in the corporate sector, learning technologist, and she was also in HR and studied how employees were hired. So she knows what she's talking about. So without further ado, I'll just mention as well, she's the co-author of the book Career Mageddon. So cracking the 21st century career code, which sounds kind of fun and important. So please welcome Marcia LaReau. Thank you, Marcia.
Thank you. Thank you, Leslie. Well, if you're new to Zoom, um, you'll see the mute button. You're not going to be able to stop. You can stop the video. Nobody will see your picture. The participants and so forth, and reactions and all of that. And that's where you go if I get boring, which I hope I won't do. But you will need the chat. So finding the chat is going to be important. We'll use it throughout. So if you're on a mobile device, you can tap the screen to access chat, but it's also up in the upper right-hand corner. And if you look there more, you'll see the chat line. So we're going to use chat throughout here so we can understand what we're looking for and how we can better make this presentation specific to you. So when I ask you a question, I'd like you to chat to everybody so everybody can see the answers to the questions that I'm asking. But if you have a question for me, would you please send your chat to Leslie? And then there's a couple places in the presentation where I'll ask for questions and she'll have your questions and we'll answer them. So there's time in the middle of the presentation for your questions. So as they come up, send Leslie a chat message. So let's practice. Chatting to everyone, please. Do you remember the first lockdown? That was really pretty scary. I want to know, did you get a haircut? So use the chat to everybody. I see the chat starting to come in. No, not yet. No. Hi, enjoy the program. Yes, thank you. Yes, yes. Thank you, Jody. Ed. All right, haircuts. Did we get the haircuts? I know that I was dying to get a haircut. So I have a question. Did you cheat? And did you get a friend to cut your hair? I have a friend who cut my hair on the back porch. So remember haircuts, who thought haircuts were so important? So as we look through here, thank you, Eric. Selfie, a selfie. I did that once about 30 years ago, and my hairstylist gave me what for, and I will never do that again. So cut my own hair. Okay, no, I didn't cheat. Wait until my hairdresser could do it legally. All right. All right. So now, what kind of a job are you looking for today? This will help me in this presentation as we go through. So tell me what kind of job you're looking for. Executive assistant, not sure. That's valid. What else do we have? There's 40 of you out there, so engineering, experience full-time, procurement, good. Sales, personal trainer. Oh yeah, that's a hard one. All right, well, with that in mind, okay, where are we here? Okay, so if you have a question for me, send them to Leslie, please. All right, maybe just chat something so you can find her in the lineup. Thanks, Leslie. Hello, Leslie. Just send something to her so when you have a question, you can find her. All right, here we go. I want to thank Leslie. She thanked Christy and she thanked Barrett, but I'm going to thank Leslie because she and I have been in touch throughout the last couple weeks to put this together, and she is a fantastic. She is really terrific when it comes to communication. So I was very grateful. All right, so here's our agenda. Who is hiring today, and how do you find opportunities there? How do we shift careers if you need to, and many people need to, for example, a personal trainer? So I've added something to this. I've added some resume tips that I thought would be helpful to you, and I'm going to pull those into this presentation as well. And then strategies for dealing with the uncertainty, especially where our income is concerned. All right, here's my question. This is a big one, folks. On a scale of 1 to 10, how hopeful are you of getting a job within the next 6 months? 10 being, I'm hopeful, I'm gonna get a job next 6 months. 1 being, really don't think so. Some 5s, good. A 10, good, Eric. Critical, yes, Paul. Some 8s, some 5s, 1s. All right. Okay. Well, you know this guy, Mr. Einstein. Negative people have a problem for every solution. And I'm trying to be careful with that because listening to negative kinds of things can really destroy my energy for the day, my desire to get things done. I appreciate that, Todd. If we want to eat, we need to get a job. All right. Now, what industries are you in? And I know one of you is an engineer, but what kind? Where do you have experience? What is your industry? Wholesale fashion industry, good. Teaching, photography, dog walking. I have a dog, big one. Comes in at 92 pounds this week. Anything else? All righty. Now, I need everybody to answer this. What are the search terms you use when you go out to find a job to apply for? Mechanical, electrical, engineering, good. Procurement, right? Come on, folks, I need you to, all right, exec or admin assistant, good. Help me out. Sales. Location, excellent. Okay, that gets us started. Remote, I understand that. A few tips will come up as I see your comments. WeWorkRemotely.com. Oh, Ed, that's hard. Location and job titles. We're going to talk about those today. That's why I need this information. Openings in Ridgefield. You know, I did that too. I'm going to show you some of the results that I got. If you're willing to work remotely and you're okay with it, it opens up the whole US to you. There is a website, WeWorkRemotely.com, that might be helpful to you. All right, first 2 items, here we go. Who is hiring and how to find opportunities. So I have my first tip here, top tip number 1. First, find out who is hiring, Then find out what they're hiring. So this goes into the job titles. So I check the news. It's my job too to understand clearly what the market's doing. We've seen incredible changes in the market. Um, procurement, for example, what people are buying, what's going on with that, depending on the industry. A lot of things are changing. So I check the news to understand the market. If you're interested in smaller businesses, um, there's places that you can go that are specific for smaller businesses. So let's see here. Who is hiring? So I go to my favorite search engine, which is DuckDuckGo, and I type out who is hiring now. It's amazing what you get during coronavirus, COVID-19, what industries hiring now, just exactly what is the market doing. LinkedIn has a page that they update fairly regularly. Who's hiring right now? They got the words right. All right, now, if you go to LinkedIn and you go to the box at the top and you put in now hiring or who is hiring right now, but hashtag now hiring, everything that they have will come up and you can get a really good idea of what's going and in terms of jobs in their database. You can always take that hashtag and put it up at the top in the search box, hashtag now hiring, see all results. And if you do that, you can also follow that hashtag and it'll bring results to you as often as you set your settings for it. So those are some things that you can do. Who is hiring right now? Here's an option, 37 major US companies. So many are asking people to work remotely. So it doesn't matter where you are and you're not limited. Okay, so who is hiring right now? Top tip number one, check the news. Prepare to jump industries. Wow, for many people, that's an eye-opener and it doesn't sound very pleasant. The reason that I'm going towards this is that, see if I can get rid of, there we go. Titles and roles are changing. When I ask you what you use for search terms, take a look at what comes up. Partnership manager, people representative, learning and development partner. These are titles and roles. Business partner, advisor, resource expert, onboarding and service. So we see that the titles and roles are changing because there's so many people out there looking for work at times that in order to get fewer people to apply for jobs, they change the title. For a while, if you were looking for a job during the Great Recession, prior to the Great Recession, we used the word relationship manager. So many people were trying to get those jobs, they changed it and they became liaison, business liaison. And the people looking for relationship manager weren't finding jobs. Well, this change has happened again. Now in coronavirus, we have changed to the word partner. It's gone from relationship to liaison to partner. So language is pretty important here. Maybe you're a project manager. If you're a project manager, maybe you want to dress that up. In terms of engineering, project management might be an asset there as well, but business transformation, because many businesses are being transformed here. Maybe you know Agile, Lean, or Six Sigma, operations. Dress up your terms so that you can find opportunities that are a better match for you. Project management specialist, okay, but practice leader, I never thought of that in terms of project management. Again, communities of excellence, communities of practice, and these are project management jobs. So my point I'm making is that the language is changing. So check the news, prepare to jump industries, and you can say, I don't have any experience in another industry. Oh, these are true stories. A woman worked for a discount furniture supplier, and she was a buyer and a planner. So planning everything 144 stores were going to need for the entire year. That discount furniture supply company has had to close down. Much of what they did came from China. So there were real issues there. So what happened to her? Well, she understood the trade things that were going on with China, how to manage them, how to ensure that the supply chain was going to get everything needed here in the US. Well, she's now a planner and forecaster for a major state hospital here in Connecticut. She had no hospital background whatsoever, but she understood planning and she understood forecasting. This is how many aspirin we're going to need. This is how many Stryker beds we're going to need. Now here in Connecticut, you can look for types of jobs and you can get these lists, but 2,235 customer service jobs. I don't know that I'd like to go through all those. And I do have a couple clients that are customer service job people looking for opportunities. So I don't suggest these, but to find out what they're hiring, this is the job titles that have been changing, go to who is hiring. So I went down to the Ridgefield area and I found Western Connecticut healthcare. Now, I think Nuvance Health, what are they hiring? I was looking at their website. Now, I don't know what a cytotechnologist is. I know that I'm not one, but a referral associate, a group leader, systems integration specialist, these are IT jobs. So very interesting. There was a ton of stuff. Blue Buffalo, I think they make dog food because they make dog treats and I have a dog. Customer operations, order management coordinator, associate brand manager, dog treats. I'm tempted to apply for that. Consumer and market intelligence associate, it's remote. Inventory deployment planner. These are jobs all over the map. And this place is hiring 29 jobs, and the organization, Blue Buffalo, has really excellent ratings. That's right down there in Ridgefield. Boehringer Ingelheim, what are they hiring? User experience design and research, so website, statistical programmer, molecular immunology intern, business analytics and insights, global market access. These are somewhat middle and high level jobs. I don't know what an animal health data ecosystem intern is, but my point is that language rules, and they may also be looking for administrative assistants. So if we don't know the language, we're going to miss up. We have to understand the language, because if we don't, we could come up empty. If you're having trouble finding opportunities that are a good match for you, this is a different direction to go. If you are finding some opportunities, you might be missing some as well. So again, find out who is hiring and what they're hiring. So where to look? Check the news for supply and demand. Okay, folks, time to chat. Do you remember COVID early, that scary time? What were the needs? What was everybody needing? What was everybody wanting? There's 21 of us here in this, so please let me know. PPEs, thank you. Daria, TP, yes. Tests, yes. Toilet paper. Let's see what I put down here. Does that ring a bell? I bet it does. And of course, what I forgot, you already knew. Yeah. So here's the list again. So what was happening with these needs? Again, we're talking about supply and demand. The supply was somewhat low. There was a great demand. So what was happening? And I was wondering, are these things still a problem now? So I was doing some more research and I found 13 shortages we're likely to see this winter. It's November because of COVID-19. What are they? Interesting. Humidifiers, video games and consoles, people in-house, patio heaters, fitness equipment, fitness equipment, fitness equipment to that person who is a personal trainer, face masks, PPE. Yeah, okay. We saw that before. Bicycles, who knew? Arts and crafts, yes. Cleaning supplies. I wonder if there is a run on jigsaw puzzles. Just a thought. Take a look here. We know there's a vaccine coming out. They said they have 90% today. They said they have 90% effectiveness with the vaccine, and it'll be here in less than a month in December. So there's a rush and a ramp up on vials and syringes. Point, supply and demand. There's a demand. Who's trying to fill this stuff? So who is hiring to manage these shortages? Medically related needs and services are still hiring, and don't forget hand sanitizer. So you check the news again. I'm a news buff, but I don't have a TV. I use the computer. Check this out. A Guilford company was, when we needed ventilators, they started working around the clock. And you say, well, I don't know how to make a ventilator. They needed help with operations. They had to ramp up operations. Everybody wasn't making the ventilators. They needed everything. Distilleries at that time were really coming to the fore and figuring out how to get hand sanitizer to meet the demand. 5 consumer products affected. Well, they're not. Toilet paper and hand sanitizers aren't the only products that may soon be in short supply. So this is, I pulled these things out Friday, Saturday, and yesterday. So these are 3 days old, specifically for you. Thermometers, of course. Board games, food shortages. I don't know how you can manufacture a nurse, but I will tell you that if you know someone and suggest someone, in certain hospitals, they'll pay you $5,000 if that nurse actually signs up and starts working. Teachers, same deal, struggling. Many teachers that were able to retire did so. Carbonation. All right. So there's things that we have needs. We have to understand the need and figure out who's meeting them because they're hiring. So expecting lots of shifting. Medically related needs and services are still high, along with hospitals and medical facilities. We also see online remote communications, online learning with schools shutting down. I understand Wethersfield just went red. Shipping services and delivery services. So these are some examples, and I want to talk and do a deeper dive to show you how you can find opportunities here. So we'll take these first two to start. Medically related, hospital and medical. They're looking for, this is in your area as well, clinical education specialist and sales. Somebody put sales when I said, when I said, what are you looking for? Account management, that's also business development and sales. A community education manager, a health program associate, a reimbursement manager, administrative assistant, reimbursement manager. Marketing and communications, administrative assistant, there it is. Quality and safety, patient administration associate. So we're not necessarily looking for doctors here. We're looking for people that can help. So those are the kinds of things. They're all over the map. You might say, but I've never worked in a medical facility. Well, again, a true story. I have a client. She was a marketing agent for luxury travel. They put together travel and technology to make sure these people had a great luxury vacation. And you know what happened to luxury vacations as we watch those ships and coronavirus just pelting everybody. Well, what is she doing now? She's a project coordinator for a company that provides research and development and management for healthcare and pharmaceutical enterprises. I think she might be the youngest person at that company. So she didn't have any experience in there, but There she is. So this whole thing, medically related needs and services, hospitals and medical facilities, be sure you're looking at who is hiring in your area. What about this? Now we go to remote communications because many people are working from home, and online learning because many people are learning from home. So let's take a look. So I went out and asked, what are the best communication tools for remote teams? Oh, because remote teams often have jobs for people who are working remotely. Communication tools. What about the 9 best online collaboration tools for remote workers? That's going to be critical. Well, maybe you've heard about these online collaboration tools as you logged into your Zoom meeting. So these are online collaboration tools, and these companies are hiring as fast as they can. Zoom is almost 100% remote. Here's some things they're looking for: a systems analyst, support operations manager, data analytics, sales, federal tax lead, accounting operations, account executive, that's sales. Many or most of these are remote positions. This is what's happened to their customer growth. I bet you're not surprised. I'm looking for the dictionary to say that they have a new word for us in the very new future. Let's Zoom our meeting. Okay, what about digital classroom? Because we're trying to figure out how to help children learn virtually. 10 best online learning tools for kids. 11 digital education tools for teachers and students. These are 2 sets of things that I found. So these are companies that are hiring. Go to the who is hiring? What are they hiring? Well, education publishers and ed tech. Technology support coordinator. You think, I don't know, I'm not really good at technology. These are people that help people learn how to use Zoom. Digital learning developer, online tutors, monitors, proctors. If you've done any kind of teacher or training, I have a friend, she's a retired teacher, and now she is an online tutor, and she helps kids with math. She's never taught math before. She was a music teacher, but now she's a math tutor. Smart building technology service manager, assistive technology professional, remote greeter. I think many of us could do a remote greeter. Proctor for examinations. So educational technology sales rep, and that's a remote position. So looking for who is hiring right now based on what's in the news can help you find opportunities you never thought about. What's next? Shipping. Marcia, I don't want to drive a UPS truck, and I don't want to carry boxes to doors. I understand that. I don't either. Package delivery driver, delivery manager, delivery lead. These are not in truck roles. Service delivery manager, manager educational consulting. I'm like, really? Yeah. So packing materials engineer. So they're all over the map in terms of who they're hiring and the skill sets they need. And a lot of people don't know how to find these opportunities. So this could be helpful to you. And you say again, I don't have experience. I'm gonna tell you how to handle that on your resume and on your cover letter. Just hang in there with me. So a children's book writer and video producer. This is a former client who lives out in Northern California. And the company taught reading across the United States. And they were reading classes for like 5 and 6 year olds, 7 and 8 year olds, all the way up through college. And every summer they would go into colleges and universities, borrow their classrooms, and people would come for 6-week stints. We had no opportunity last summer to do this. They literally had to close their doors. So what happened to this book writer? he became the technical writer for online employee learning modules for a major health insurance company. And the first thing he was asked to do was, you're going to onboard to our company as yourself, and you're going to write the training so other people can come on board when they come as part of this company. So that's what he was doing. Incidentally, he was a children's book writer. He has a degree in philosophy. Maybe that helped him, maybe it didn't. All right, chat room. Grab the chat. So here's 3 examples that I've given you. Retail furniture supply chain manager, hospital planner and forecaster, luxury vacation marketer to pharma project coordinator, children's book writer to online instruction designer. What do they have in common? Any thoughts? Any thoughts? What do these have in common? It's okay not to answer, but here's the deal. They're all in medically related situations. They've gone where the hiring is. They all switched to an industry that was deemed, you know the word, essential. You can do an online search for essential businesses, essential business types, and get a pretty decent list. Okay, we're going to Leslie. Leslie, do we have any questions?
I don't see any questions yet. Oh, there was one from Sarah. Is this from Ed Tech Positions? It's the question. I'm not quite sure what that means.
Not sure where we were with that. I'm sorry. I'm not able to see that when I'm presenting. Nintendo Switches are sold out at Costco already. Interesting. That's a really good thing. Who wrote that? Sarah. Oops. Looking in the grocery store or the other stores and seeing what's missing is also an indicator of supply and demand. I never thought about that. Wow. Sarah, if you would like to send me your resume, I'm so grateful for that. I will gladly give you a quick review. You can send it to my email address. Okay, thank you for that. I'm not sure what the "is this" from EdTech Positions is about, but if you want to email me, I will certainly follow up with you. Okay. Career shifting. How do you match your skills? And how do you respond if you don't have something they're looking for? Let me first dismiss something that's really not valid. So people believe you have to have every single thing on their list or you're not going to be considered. Is that really true? Let me tell you, I talk with recruiters and hiring professionals every week. And I've been doing this for 15 years that I've been asking these people every week. When somebody says, I had every single thing on that list, what do they mean that they were looking for someone who more closely matched what they were looking for? I had everything. HR believes that if you have everything to the hilt, you're going to be bored within 3 months. So they want to balance out challenge with able to put your feet on the floor and start running when you come into the business. So these things I know I'm really solid on. These are things that I really like. I've done a little bit of them. I know people who have done them. I've worked with them. But these are the things that I'm really interested in. I'm going to go to that again in just a minute. So how do we do that? Remember that language rules. I'm going to give you some of the, I guess you'd call them trade secrets. Some business people call it your secret sauce. Some of my secret sauce when I'm working with people here. Hiring professionals say, just show me what you've done that pertains to this job. More is not better. And a little quickie. If you are asked, tell me about yourself. They want you to tell them about yourself according to the job you're talking about. And if they say, talk me through your resume in the interview, they're not asking you to tell them everything about those jobs. They're asking you to pull out the pieces in that job that will help you do their job. Okay, it's a thought. Use their language rules. So this is, all right, this is what we use for a cover letter. It's just a chart. This is what you need. This is what I have. And we put up at the top, able to work remotely. We put that at the top of every cover letter, assuming it is true. So here's a rule. You don't have a requirement. Enthusiasm trumps knowledge and experience. That has not changed in HR for at least 10 years. Now, within reason, if they're looking for a brain surgeon and you've never done that, it's probably not going to work. However, if you have the foundational sets of skills to do a job, but not some of the other things, that can be managed in a positive way. So don't panic if you don't have what they're looking for exactly. When you don't have a requirement, acknowledge it. Tell them what you do have. So what would that look like? This part of the job is a stretch for me, but I'm enthusiastic about learning and ready for the challenge. I've reviewed the user guide and watched several videos on this technology. It's similar to a technology that you have, and I believe I can learn it quickly. I'm so grateful for YouTube. Now, everybody has bullets on their resume. So first thing, use their language in your bullets and try not to use common language, communication skills, written and verbal. I know it's on every job posting, but customer service, boring. How about customer service enthusiast? Enthusiastic about customer service. Love working with people. Be careful with your bullets, use their language. And we put there, able to work remotely, assuming that's true. All right, now I said I'd give you some resume tips, and here they are. Language rules. I'm kind of pushing that point, that language rules, just saying. So if you put able to work remotely, we are assuming it should be true. Do you have a good internet connection? Will you be disturbed throughout your work time? Would there be disruptions in your basement? Maybe. Are you really able to work remotely? When they look past your picture in their Zoom, oh, will they see that? Oh, that's not good. And this isn't real good either. Do you want to work with this character? And truly, here I am. Okay, I'm ready to give the presentation today. You see the point. You need good lighting. You can buy a decent light on Amazon. I bought one for $30. It's sitting in front of me. It has warm, cool, and really bright. And each one of those have 6 or 7, so I can get rid of a lot of the shadows and whatnot. So there's ways to do that. Now, what are companies looking for in terms of vocabulary and attributes? Attributes are really important. Most people think of skills, but attributes are really important. And here are 3 attributes. An attribute is something you are no matter where you are. You're always creative. You're innovative. You always have ideas. A sense of humor is an attribute. Doesn't matter where you are, you have a sense of humor. So creative, innovative, and ideas, these are important. Now, the thing I want to stress here is we need to demonstrate. We can't just say, I'm creative, because, strategic leadership, everyone applying for jobs is now a strategic leader. We call those the tired words list. So Did you demonstrate creativity? How would you do that? I created a new client interaction tool that blah, blah, blah. I introduced and implemented a new enterprise application that. So using your choice, you probably have it on your resume and your bullets, but are you letting him know that it was an innovative idea? It was something new that you brought about and you created. Demonstrate it. So ideas. Another word is flexible, especially right now. Flexible is so important. You're here today. No, I need you at work. No, I don't. You have to work from home 2 weeks for you. We're really being called on to be flexible. Demonstrate it. How do you demonstrate it? Oh, like Gumby. Remember Gumby? When COVID-19 caused 200 layoffs, I changed roles and implemented a program to stay connected with key stakeholders. If you were in sales, maybe you did something to make sure that your accounts were taken care of. Thank you, Gumby. So, creative, ideas, innovation, flexible. Curious is a really important word to HR people right now. Curiosity. So we really want to demonstrate being curious. So you give them an example. Instead of just putting down the phone and saying, well, we can't do something, when incomplete data prevented contracts from moving forward, contacted the database administrator. Together, we identified a glitch in the cloud connectivity. And then when you're asked in an interview, tell me about a time when you were curious and figured out a solution that was problematic and needed to happen. So here we have ideas, innovation, creativity, flexibility, and we have curious. There's another one. There they are. You'll have to stay tuned for the last one. It's really important, but we'll get there soon. Now today, we are dealing with a lot of uncertainty. You know, no matter what model of recovery is being used, the experts all agree on one thing. There's a lot of uncertainty and the rebound is not likely to be fast. So we're here for a bit. Even if we get 6 million coronavirus antidotes here, it's going to be a while before everybody can get one. So you have options on how you can manage this. What are you going to do? So here's a word to the wise. If you're thinking you're going to land a job doing what you've always done, the way you've always done it, think about what we've talked about today. Who is hiring? What are they hiring? How can you qualify? Prepare to jump industries. You know these people. You've met them in your office. We've always done it that way. You know how annoying they are? It can be very, very frustrating. Jumping ship. Thank you, Sarah. If you're thinking about waiting this out, now's not the time to do that. Don't wait this out. Oh, Marcia, Thanksgiving's coming. There's nothing that happens between Thanksgiving and the middle of January. In my business, for 15 years running, the highest hiring rate has been between, are you ready? October 15th to February 15th. Every single year, more people are hired in that window than anywhere else. Maybe because so many people take the time out. But think it through. Companies know what they're going to have for their budget. They know what their needs are. They know how they're going to move forward. They're starting a new fiscal year. Most have gone to a January 1 to January 1 fiscal year. Hiring is done now. Get your stuff in the pipeline. Otherwise, you're doing this. Okay, there's my picture. There's my picture that, yeah, you know. So there's been more, it's a little bit, part of Zoom is on top of this. There's been more interview and hiring activity since February 15 than at any time in 14 years of being in business. And right now, what used to take 3 to 6 months is happening in 3 to 6 weeks. And I say that in the right industry, hiring is happening. Maybe you would just like to go to an island. I get that. But I bet there's snakes there too. I don't like snakes. Don't do snakes. Just saying. Maybe you'd like to buy something expensive and zoom around. Might not be the right move. Yeah, you could go to Amazon and order a damn it doll. These are real. These are real. These are the newest ones. They used to just have like 2 or 3 kinds, but you're supposed to grab the feet, you know, and you smash them down on the table or your desk when things don't go the way you want, and they help relieve stress. Maybe you'd like to watch The Adventures of Gumby with your friends on Zoom, or, well, you know what? You better get out there pretty quick, because we're starting to see some of these things are disappearing now, and many companies are limiting how many people can buy. Or you could go to Zoom, get a free account there. They limit how much time you can have on it. I think it's like 40 minutes or something. And you could video conference with people and start your own job group, work with people that you meet at the library. We're used to climbing mountains in this country, and we do it well. We've always been able to look at the top of the mountain and make our way. We've been able to see with clarity, find the goal, and move forward. This is a different world. It's upside down. There's no clarity in front of us. There's clarity behind us. It's hard. So how are we going to deal with this? Now, watermelon season's over, pretty much. But you look at that watermelon and it creates an expectation. If that's cut open, you have an expectation. And that's not it. This is a disrupted message. We're going through lots of disruptions. Watch for disruptors and think in a new way. We think about healthcare. Nobody put anything in the box that they were looking for that wouldn't be found in some way, shape, or form in a medical or medically related service. For example, AI in healthcare, population health, mobile medicine. I had surgery in my hand February 28th, got that in there. And every follow-up appointment was mobile. Mobile medicine is taking off, and they need people in every imaginable role. And incidentally, if you're interviewing, be careful if the way you use your hands, because look, my hand looks as big as my face because it's closer to the camera. You have to be careful with that, really. See? Okay. So when you're online and doing that Zoom interview, be careful with that. You have to keep your hands closer to your body. That's an interview tip. Okay. So we're going to look at this again in just a moment, but I'm just saying these are some things to look at. Artificial intelligence in healthcare is going off the charts. It's a communication device in its own way, and they're hiring all sorts of people. Population health is another one, in mobile medicine. So there's a healthcare disruptor going on out there. Disruptors in healthcare. Consumers take charge of their health and embrace new disruptive technologies. Payers, traditional business models will have to change. We are in the middle of a war of pay for service. You go to the doctor, you pay for the service because you went to the doctor. But my ear is still aching, so you have to go again and you pay again for the same service. That's called pay for service. Now healthcare is being turned on its head, and we're not really even aware of it. Even with COVID, healthcare is turning on its head to for the healthcare that is holistic. It's all about the person. Why didn't she take her medicine? Because she couldn't get to CVS because her job started before she could get there. Or she had to buy food for her children, or he didn't have a vehicle to do XYZ. So holistic healthcare and other ways of managing healthcare instead of pay for service, it's changing. There's disruptors in education. I just looked up disruptors in education. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, disruptors in education. 16 startups. If you don't mind working for a smaller company, go to crunchbase.com. And in it, it'll tell you what companies are getting lots of money in their startup. It's crazy. You'll learn a ton. But some of them are very well funded, and they're not looking for youngsters necessarily who don't know what they're doing. They're looking for people who know what they're doing, and that includes administrative assistant type people. So crunchbase.com. Disruptions in education. Take a look here. These are things going into education to figure out how to do it better. And I have not found one person who doesn't believe we need to do education better. Disruptions. Accounting and finance, same deal. AI is moving in. Now there's a problem with these disruptions. Here it is. They're in the rearview mirror. We know disruptions have come after they've already come. And then it's sometimes too late. They're disrupted. Cloud technology was a big one. Mr. Einstein comes back and says we can't solve our problems with the same thinking we used to create them. We have to think in a new way. And I'm hoping tonight I've helped you think a little bit differently about this. So what to look for? Search for pain points, the supply and demand. Sarah, these, whatever they were, are not available in Costco. What's missing out there? Identify a viable solution. Who's making them? Ideas and innovation. Yeah, but I don't have experience in the industry. The videographer that I'm working with, what is he doing? He really wants to be a videographer, and he's working on it, and he's getting his experience and all this good stuff. He's working very hard. Problem? He's got to earn a living. So what is he doing? A remote trainer for meeting software called Zoom, WebEx, and GoToMeeting. So he works from his computer, he works from home, and he helps people get themselves situated with regard to these platforms. Searching for your future. We've seen a little bit of this, talked about this, but looking further, what is the future of training? What's the future of education, of learning, of education technology? Looking at the future and finding out who's doing it now. These are places where COVID has disrupted them and we don't have solutions. So there is a future, and it's ours to envision. I like this picture. I feel like an eye doctor. So the second wave. Second wave may be bad, experts warn. Second wave. The survival rate for COVID-19, if you're under 70 years old, is now 99.997%. So we've learned a lot very, very quickly. That's very interesting. Do you remember all the wonderful but difficult things that these were our heroes? They were on the front line. They were going to work when COVID was just everywhere, and many of them were not coming out. Many died. They went to work each day knowing that it could be deadly. Now this is the second wave. The issue with regard to helping people get over COVID is no longer health related in certain respects. It's now economic. We are facing a massive economic challenge right now, and we can pull out of it. Small businesses have always pulled this nation out of depression and recession. So here's what's happened to our GDP. And not just us, doesn't matter what color you look at, but New England is the blue one. So here's what I think we need to do. We have different superheroes now. We have you. We have people that are willing to go to work. Put on your best suit. Get your superhero cape and put it on. Go to work, find a place where you can help them be profitable and help a company become profitable. That's what's going to help here, and help others do the same. So if we can do this one thing, this nation can recover. Here's your last word. This should be on your resume, excuse me, and you should demonstrate it. Resiliency. Critical. When all the chips are down, you got up. And as soon as you got up, you extended a hand to somebody else who was down and helped them get up. And then there were 4 people up, and then there were 8. And then you figured out solutions. Demonstrate resiliency. Our nation's history has been resilient, and I'm hoping and praying that we can do it again. So, protect your hope. Work together. This is critical. Leslie started, she started us off by talking about a series at the library. Finding people that can help. People say, look at my resume. I'm not sure that's the right question. When you look at someone's resume, instead of just looking at it, say, you get 8 seconds, you get 12 seconds. In 12 seconds, what's the message that comes out of that resume? Does it say, this person is a sales professional and he or she can help us? Ooh, this person's been an administrative assistant, and this individual, you know, the admin is the person that keeps the place running. They're the one everybody comes to when they need to know something. Incredible sets of skills. When they look at something, do they know within 8 to 12, 15 seconds, the message of why you're marvelous? That's what I would ask someone if they looked at my resume. Furthermore, we ask that question, do the same thing on LinkedIn. What is the message that people get? Those are 2 primary parts of your toolbox. Feeling glum? You know, you're here. Down? It's reasonable for you to be down. It is reasonable to be frustrated when one thing after another doesn't come through. You get nothing back when you apply for jobs. You start to feel invisible. That's why these groups are critical. I don't care if it's a group of 2, but meet every week. Work with each other, encourage each other, learn from each other, get the help you need. A resume review, a LinkedIn review, interview preparation, get what you need, because it's very costly not to be working. LinkedIn, connecting with people. LinkedIn was purchased by Microsoft, I don't know, 6, 8 months ago, and they have become the premier job search database. People pay a lot of money to use that database. They have a thing called Recruiter and Recruiter Lite, LinkedIn Recruiter. Places are paying $1,000 a month to use that database. You can connect with people, groups, have conversations, look at your groups. Let's say I'm a recruiter and I am trying to hire an administrative assistant or an engineer or a salesperson. I'm going to go to the best sales groups in the area that I'm looking for, and I want to see who's active, who's really working, who's up in their industry, who's asking intelligent questions. So as a recruiter, I'm going to go looking at groups to see what people are really at the top of their game. So don't dismiss those. Identify the groups that will be helpful to you. Connect with people that are making intelligent remarks. Look for recruiters in the groups. Once you're in a group, you can find recruiters in there. Chat with people. What are you learning about the industry? What do you think the future is for whatever it is you're trying to get a job in? That makes you a thought leader. I call it a virtual cup of coffee. I like coffee. So use LinkedIn, folks. You can reach out to people all over the world. Critical critical part of your toolbox. Watch the news, find the who and the what, utilize LinkedIn to the fullest, get your superhero cape, and help others as well. Become a superhero, folks. We've got to do this. I hope this has been helpful. Okay, thank you for doing your part. Leslie.
Thank you so much, Marcia. That was great, fabulous, very inspirational, and some great tips for people. So I wonder if people have some questions, just type it in. You can type it into panelists in the chat, and that'll get to both of us here. So whatever you want to know, just type it in there.
I couldn't have answered all of your questions in that little session there.
So someone's asking for your email address.
We'll just get that to them. You can go to forwardmotioncareers.com. The contact page comes right to me and I get to you within a business day.
And Janice here is asking whether you can comment about cover letters.
Yes. I'll tell you what we do. So again, it's a little secret sauce here. I put 50 hiring professionals, HR and recruiters in a room with some hiring managers. And I said, tell me about cover letters. And this was what happened. I mean, it just exploded. I don't read cover letters. Do you read a cover letter? I don't read one. You don't know. I haven't read a cover letter in 10 years. And I'm looking at them. It's like people pour out their heart and soul in a cover letter. What do you mean you don't look at them? Well, there's nothing on it that we need. Well, I had a professional facilitator at this meeting and I said, Michael, I want to know what they need because I want to put that in the cover letter. So we did some real changing, and here's what we did. We made the cover letter the first page of the resume. They have to read it. It's the first thing they see. So instead of saying, here's my cover letter, here's my resume, instead of that, I said, here's my cover letter resume. We call it the application, and it goes in. And the first thing they want to know is, are you qualified? That's all they want to know. Are you qualified? So that's what we give them, page 1. Then there's a bunch of other things that they need. Do you have the education they're looking for? Do you have the attributes? Do you have the core competencies? It's big right now that they're looking for that job. Are you going to be a good fit? What is your work history? We put all those things in one page. It's very clean, white space, a lot of white space, but it's everything HR needs to see. And when I ask them, okay, why can't a resume be more than 2 pages, please? Oh, wow, they exploded. Do you know how long it takes us to go through all that stuff to find the stuff we need? That's what we put on this page 2. Cover letter. This is why I'm qualified. Page 2. This is everything HR needs. Then we went into the detail for the hiring manager who wants to know, can you do the job? How long will it take you to ramp up? How much hand-holding will you need? And finally, will you play nice with my team? Those are the things hiring managers want to know. So that's what we put after that. So what I call, it's called a reader-based resume. If you go to my website, the blog, and search reader-based resume, there's a whole article on what we've done. And I've really not held much anything back. So there you have it. That's what we do. We do it very, very differently. It gets to the applicant tracking systems are not hard to get through, and there's a process we use. We get through it at least 98% of the time.
There's a question here from Pam. A stay-at-home mum for 20 years with lots of volunteer positions. Just now thinking about joining the job search. How far do you go back listing these jobs and volunteer positions? Where is the best place to start?
Pam, excellent, excellent question. Working with a person right now, he has been in the insurance industry in a small business for many, many years, but he's done a lot of volunteer work. Well, the volunteer work he's done is work. It's still work. Just because he wasn't paid, and they don't ask you what were you paid for, they ask your experience. So your volunteer work is important. If it's been in event management, if it's been in solicitation, that goes in your work experience. In my book, that's work experience, especially if you've done it year over year over year. So with that in mind, we integrate the two. And how long do you go back? They say nobody's interested in anything past 2000. And some people say 15 years, so 2005. But after we list that work, we sometimes, without any date, say work prior. And then we list the company and the roles so that they understand, especially if it's relevant today and they know you've been there, but not recently. So there's ways to do that. And the best place to start with what you do best. I had a client who quit her work in order to take care of her parents. And then 7 years went by because she took care of her mother. And when her mother passed, she took care of her father until he passed. Now, this person was a research person at John Dempsey Hospital for 30 years before she quit. Well, here she had been working with hospice. She found out she had a gift for hospice. We reconfigured her resume, and the 30-year thing, the only thing we used there was the stuff that was for geriatric people, her research with geriatric patients. And then she actually started working with, what is it called? There's a group that had a very intense, short, but very intense training. And she went through that. And then she actually started a degree in social services, and the state paid for it. And she came out a very new person. Now, you may not have time to go to school and all that. And she didn't go to school full time at any point. It was a Stevens ministry training, which is pretty well respected and very intense. But start with what you know. Start with what you've been doing. There are people that probably need to do what you've been doing. So that's my suggestion with it.
Thank you. Another one here. What are your thoughts on temp positions? And
Oh,
are there any local temp agencies that you would recommend?
so what we do with my clients are everywhere, California to New York. There's a lot in New York right now. And you folks aren't that far away from New York, but agencies in my area. Now, agencies, when you start looking for them, they have specifics in terms of their interest levels. I mean, by that I mean there are agencies that do administrative work. I have a dear friend of mine is an incredible administrative assistant, and she's registered with 2 agencies. So both those agencies work with people that are people looking for administrative assistance specifically. She'll be working from home and she's getting calls. So agencies in my area, and you might say what kind? Engineering agencies where they're sending people out. And many of these are, this is a little coarse, apologize, but the industry calls it try it before you buy it. So they go through an agency because they don't have to bring you in as an employee. So engineering, sales, see what you can find in terms of customer relations, that kind of thing. But find agencies in your area is what I recommend. And then we make sure that we upload a resume to them. And if nothing has happened in 2 months, we take that resume down. We look at it, we check the vocabulary, we make sure they're using words that are current, and we upload it again so it's new and refreshed. And incidentally, if you do not do something on LinkedIn every 6 weeks to 8 weeks, when people do a search, they no longer will consider your profile. So be sure you're out there doing something on that. All right. Hope that was helpful.
I'm not seeing any more questions at the moment. So,
well, you know how to find me. You know I want to be found. Connect with me on LinkedIn. That's an activity. Email me, whatever. Go to my website and just use the contact us, comes right to me. Let me know that we met here, so to speak. I wish you all the best. I'm trying to do everything I can do to help our economy move forward. All my best to you. May the Lord bless you deeply. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you everyone for attending. Good evening.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.